method, which is the third one, is the program-driven method. We've seen God will bring them in method. We've seen the charity-driven method. Now we're looking at the program-driven method. This one too. Are you saying that the church should not have program? No. But just like the charity, we must be careful how we use program as our tool for growing church numerically. So he said it's another prevailing method that is entrenching in the heart of some churches. Some pastors are using it very well, and they are using it wrongly. Billions are being spent every year on programs. For the goal is that is the only way. That's the only way. If you want to keep the church vibrant, if you want to keep your old members and get new members, spend money on programs. Spend money on programs. Hot programs. Get hot ministers. People that have names, big ministers. Don't mind what we spend. You will get it. Oh, top singers, feature them. It's very, very important. When you do that, the church, the old ones will not go anywhere. They will remain. Why new ones will come in? Don't forget that most churches are not doing it. So if you do it, it's an advantage. It puts you on the upper, at the edge. Other church members will be leaving that church to join your own. You see, can you imagine? If this is the purpose, if this is the objective of programs, then is it healthy? Do you think it will last? Do you think the church can grow well? No, not at all. So they believe that the only way to keep and sustain members is to have this program back to back. Have like 5 or 4 strong hot program every year. Shake the turn. I'm telling you, the church will grow. And honestly speaking, let's be honest, it's working. There are churches that have spent millions in programs featuring men of God, and they've grown numerically. They've attracted people into the church because of that. Yes, it's a good strategy. But if the end is not, you don't have a strong processing system that will disciple them and lead them into the gospel, then that strategy is a problem, because it means another church that can do higher program, that can spend more than what you spend, can still attract that same members from your church to his. So it becomes the competition of programs, the competition who have the hottest program, who feature the top ministers globally. Then if there is a reason, we are in problem. That method is a deadly one, but it can be a very good strategy if the end result is to establish them in the faith, not just because you want to attract people from other churches. No. Am I saying begin to ask them, which church are you coming from? No, I'm not saying you should ask them that. But whoever comes in and say they want to make that local church their church, because of that program they came in and they want to stay, let them be tutored, let them be led, let them be taught the gospel of Jesus. Let them be developed, built, so that they can have a better mindset of stability in faith. Not church wanderers, not church immigrants. It is very important. So let's be mindful of that. So let's look at some problem that this particular method have, the program method. Let's look at it. High cost, number one. High cost. It is very expensive. It is very expensive. If you want to use the program method to grow a local church, it's very expensive. So that means there will be much pressure on the people, constant pressure for finance. It's very expensive. And when you even have the resources, is it the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to do? Because at the end of the day, the focus is on program. The focus is that the people themselves will never know how to win souls, because they are never out there on the street talking to a soul about Jesus. Because with that or not, our church must grow, because we organize big program and people come. Okay. So because it is money driven, this program are very expensive. The people you are inviting, these guest speakers, these singers, Who are those that will love to hear them? They are believers too from other churches. So you see the circle of members of church to church because of programs. Because a typical lost soul, somebody who is a sinner out there, we have no interest to come and listen to that minister. We have no interest to come and hear that singer. It's a lost soul. It's nothing we appeal to him. So majority of those that will come for that program, if not 95%, they are believers of other churches. And when they look at what you have and it's very enticing and good, they will just decide to stay. That is just it. Sad, but that is just it. So your own people are not trained to be soul winners. They can't go out there and preach the gospel. The best they can do is flyers. Just take the flyers and say, please, church is having a program. That's the best. They cannot sit down and share the gospel with someone and lead that person to Christ. Alright, so high cost is one of the problems. The number two problem is the show off motive. Not only is such a church doing this to get new members and keep old ones, there's this quiet motive of show off, telling people that our church now belongs to the big leagues. Can you see the kind of ministers for future? Can you see the kind of singers we are inviting? We are now in the big league in this town. Alright, that is when we depend on using this method as an end to itself, as a means of growing the church, without it leading to winning souls for Jesus. So another problem it has, like the charity is missed audience. As I've said before, it's only the majority of people that will come for that program are believers, because they want to hear their different preachers preach, the different singers sing. Alright. But the lost souls, the sinners, they are in a location. They are somewhere out there. They are somewhere out there. We know where they are. Can we arrange and see how we can meet them where they are? Meet the sinners where they are. So our programs should be defined. Is it a soul winning program or a soul building program? We must have objective for our meetings. So this audience is a problem. Another that is okay. Let me stop there at that problem and take the final one, the final method, which is number 4, and that is the discipleship method, discipleship driven method. This is the one that Jesus recommends. This is how a church will grow numerically. And if you apply this, it also affects the church spiritually. That's one of the beautiful advantage of this. That if you are discipleship conscious, you use the charity as a strategy, it helps in discipleship. You use the program as a strategy, it helps in discipleship. If you know how to blend and use those two, it's an advantage. But they should not be an end to themselves, because it has great consequences. But the real method of church growth, it helps in discipleship. If you go through this method, the church might not grow as fast as you want it, but it will grow, it will be stable. It will have the approval of God. When the fire tests it, it will come out shining. Because you have people developed in the faith. You have people developed in the gospel. You have people who can defend the gospel with, they can teach it, they can defend the gospel with their life. Discipleship method. That is the method of Jesus. And the disciples build on it. They build on it. They build on it. And we are who we are today because of this element of discipleship. So it has to be entrenched in our growth. So not cancerous growth, not the growth that is cancerous, that is affected, whereby we are just growing, but the quality of life is not in the congregation. The quality of the gospel is not in the congregation. So now, Jesus recommended this method. That is the pattern he laid for us. So if you read Matthew 28, verse 19 and 20 says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations. Verse 20 says, teach these new disciples to obey all my command. If you read Mark chapter 16, verse 15, it says, go into. Now you see, there are certain key words used by Jesus in these scriptures. That if you apply them, understand that to apply them today. People, pastors are challenged when it comes to when they hear the word discipleship, they are confused. No. If you get it right and build on it, the growth you'll be even experienced might be far greater than the growth these other people are experiencing. And that is the way Jesus guarantees it. So there are four elements you take out from Jesus' statement. Number one is go. Meaning that the local church is not a staying church. That we should not stay in a meeting venue and expect the lost souls to come and find us. The souls are not to find us, we are to find them. We saw that in the lost sheep. He left at the night to go and look for the one that is lost. We are to look for, not the lost souls looking for us. So he says go, not stay. Okay? So the church is to find them out there. Not saying this is the program. It's a soul winning program, but the venue is in the hall. Let the sinners come to our hall, come to our meeting. No. If the soul is a believer's meeting, if it's a believer's building program, yes, use your venue. But if it's a soul winning program, look for where the souls are. Go and meet them. Go and meet them. So go is the first thing. About any church that must grow numerically, go must be the first thing. And in my book, Repositioning the Church for Healthy Growth, I gave strategic teachings on how we can leverage on the go power to grow the church, which is the bringing them in strategy. It must be an outreach church, and how well the church can use that. I've explained that in that my book, and I'm praying you can get one. So Jesus said go. The second thing he said in Matthew 28 and Mark 15 is preach the gospel. Praise God. Preach the gospel. So the question is, it's a serious problem. What are we really preaching? When we go out to meet these souls, these lost souls out there, are we preaching the gospel to them? The gospel of Jesus to them? That's the question. Because different things are flying around. We will eventually go out there in the streets, go out there in the protests, in the hotels, go out there in the different corners of the streets where these boys, these girls have, where they've been bound by the devil, the drugs addicts. You check them out there. What do we go to tell them? Do we go to tell them the gospel, or go to tell them a different story? So one problem I've observed is that 90% of believers today don't know how to win soul, don't know how to preach to a sinner. You find some in the motor park who will just come and open Bible and be prophesying. At the end, they'll collect offering. They'll call that evangelism. A lot of things are wrong. When you come to preaching the gospel to the soul, we go, as it goes, when you go, preach the gospel. Preach the gospel. What is it? It's good news. Jesus came, died, resurrected. He has paid for your price. No matter what you've done, he has paid. Just believe him, accept. It's the good news, simple good news. But there's power in that gospel. There's power in it. So we must be able to teach the congregation how to engage. And how can the congregation know how to preach when they don't go out? So Jesus said, go. When you engage congregation, I thank God for some pastors today who within the year have like 5 to 6 or 4 outreach programs. It's good. Engage, let them go and learn. And as you teach them, let them go and practice it. So the first thing we do is we go. When we go, what do? We preach the gospel. The fourth thing that Jesus recommends that we must put in place is that after we preach the gospel, trusting God that they will accept. Once they accept, say, make disciples out of them. Convert them into a disciple. So I said in a quote I placed on Facebook that a disciple is more powerful than a son. Why we are all looking for sons? I'm the son this, I'm the son of this, I'm the father of this, you are my son. We're looking for spiritual sons. That is not what Jesus said. Disciple. Don't go and look for sons. Say make disciples. Because a son is somebody, sonship is by birth, but discipleship is by making. Which one easy pass? Let me speak in a pidgin English language. Which one is more difficult? Which one is more easier? You are giving birth to a son by birth. But for you to be a disciple, so a son is not necessarily a disciple, but a disciple is a son. So we tend to escape discipleship and focus on sonship. So when we preach to someone the gospel and they accepted the gospel of Jesus, we have to make them into disciples. Not to say, yes, he's my son, she's my daughter, I bring her up, I bring him up. No. Disciple them. That is where the work is. That's number 3. Then after you disciple them, say teach them, because there cannot be true discipleship without true teaching. That is the reason. It doesn't matter if you are a prophet, no matter the office you are called into, as long as you are a leader of a congregation, you must trust God for the teaching grace. And when God begins to raise your people who you are teachers, encourage them, because you cannot have true discipleship in a congregation where they are not teachers. So that is it. That is it. So you see, when we read in what that place we read initially at the first time, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 9 to 10. Let's read 6 to 8 on that place about the division. Let's see what Paul says. Paul says, I planted the seed in your heart. I put the word in your heart. Apollos watered it, but it was God who made it grow. This scripture is not really about numerical growth. It's about discipleship. It's about discipleship. Paul planted the word, which is the seed. Then Pastor Apollos settled down and began to water the word. That means there must be a deliberate, intentional system for teaching, for discipleship processing for everyone. It's a serious job. And I pray that God help us as pastors, that will do his work and be blessed and see the fruit yield result. So his goal, preach the gospel, make disciples, and teach them. It's a lot of work, and some pastors prefer the shortcut. Why go all this when I can get crowd to come through charity? Why go all this when I can get crowd to come through program? Just put the money there, invite people will gather. Why is it to gather people? I have the grace of crowd. I greet you. Why don't sir? Discipleship is the end result. That is why the watchtowers are doing better when it comes to soul winning and discipleship. I mean the Jehovah Witness. I hope you've seen how they operate. How they are out there on the street with their bags and umbrella. And by the end, they'll be patiently, if you give them attention, they'll be patient with you, coming consistently. By the time you listen to them and study with them to a level, before they will not invite you to their Jehovah hall, their meeting, their hall, their venue. And when you get to their venue, they'll lock everywhere. Nobody has to hear the sound. They'll start putting word in your head. Before you know it, you start carrying bag and start carrying umbrella. That is discipleship. So what are my caution? My caution is this. I give God praise that the church globally is waking up. When it comes to outreach, we see how we are filling stadiums. I've been seeing great events, either from Nigeria, from Africa, from Europe, how people are going out. Souls are being won. That is a good one. Let's sustain it. But here's my caution to round up. Let's not abuse the reaching out by making it a competition. We have a way of competing among ourselves in Nigeria and Africa. This man of God is doing this, is excelling. We want to behave and do the same. So let's not abuse the reaching out to the lost souls. Let's not use it as competition. Number 2, wherever we reach out to the lost souls, let it be lost souls indeed, and not other church members. The gospel should be the priority in such meetings. We should not get to a level where the church now become the next place where we send the missionaries to. The church should not get to the level where the next place where we are sending missionaries to go and preach to people so that they can be saved. It should not be the church. It should not be the church. They spend more resources and energy to sustain those who accepted Jesus. Anytime there's a reaching out, there should be a program on how we can plan the keeping them. Anytime there is a reaching out, we must plan on how we can keep the souls and grow the souls. Thank you for your time. I celebrate you. I really celebrate you. I will come your way again. Please subscribe to the YouTube. You get more things there. We'll come again. We'll talk further. If you have any questions, please, my Facebook is there. My phone numbers are there. We can talk. We can learn. I'm open to learn. We are all learning. This is the little I have to share with you. Thank you.